Hello everyone and welcome to Sinful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting out war against the grey. Today's video we're going to talk getting started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're taking a look at the Sons of Behemat, and in particular, the Breaker Tribe subfaction of the army. In this video we're going to go through, talk about what makes a Breaker Tribe army special for the Sons of Behemat, and then we'll take a look at a couple of units we recommend for getting into the army with. Finally, we're going to finish off the video with a little sample 1000 point army list for you to use as some inspiration for starting your own Sons of Behemat army using the Breaker Tribe. Now, the Breaker Tribe, how exactly do we play with this tribe? Well, it means your general must be a Gatebreaker Mega Gargant. Now, the cool rules we get is we get to add 1 to the damage inflicted by each successful attack made by a friendly Man Crusher Gargant unit that targets an enemy unit that's part of a garrison or that is wholly within a terrain feature. On top of that, we're going to have a unique command called Ramming Speed, where we can issue this command at the start of the charge phase, and the command must be issued by our general, and it has to be received by a friendly Man Crusher Gargant unit. Until the end of that phase, you can attempt to charge with that unit that receives the command if it's within 18 inch of an enemy unit, and you get to roll 3d6 for the charge as well. Some nice cool extra charging potential, some extra damage when fighting units in garrisons and in terrain as well. Now, also, when we pick a Breaker Tribe army, we can pick one of the Fierce Loathings, and we get to record that on our roster. This rule for the Fierce Loathing applies to all Gatebreaker and Man Crusher Gargants within our army. Now, the Fierce Loathings we can take are a variety of different special rules we're going to get access to, and effectively, there are a bunch of things our Mega Gargant hates. We can choose to either pick Bossy Boots and Clever Clogs, where we add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit that target an enemy hero or wizard. Idiots with Flags, where we get to add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made by this unit that targets an enemy totem or any unit with command models. Or Wannabes, where we add 1 to hit rolls for attacks made target an enemy unit that is a war machine or a monster. So a bunch of different things, and there are some really cool ones in this. For me, I really like Idiots with Flags. I think that is my preferred option out of any of them, because we can get things like monstrous rampages that are going to allow us to do things like Titanic Duel and get +1 to hit against monsters as well. Plus we've got all the cool abilities that allow us to suplex enemy monsters across the table. And generally the heroes we're going to want to be killing are going to be monsters anyway. Now, of course, the place to start looking for this army is a Gatebreaker Mega Gargant. 35 wounds, a 4-up save, and a degrading move profile that starts at 10 inches and degrades down to only 8, which is not too bad. Now, the Fort Crusher Flail is their big attack, with 6 attacks at 4s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 3, damage 4. They've also got the Almighty Stomp and the Death Grip for some additional -2 rend damage in the model as well. Now, they're going to be able to hurl boulders as well, where they can 18-inch range at full strength, 1 attack at 3s and 2s, rend 3, damage 4, so a nice little bit of extra damage. The Almighty Stomp allows them to add 1 to hit rolls if they're ever targeting an enemy unit with a wounds characteristic of 3 or less. Crushing Charge allows them to deal mortal wounds on the charge, and Death Grip as well allows them, if they're fighting a monster, they can roll 2 dice and pick the highest result that they want with the damage of that attack. Longshanks will allow them to make a normal move, run, or retreat. They can pass across enemy models that are not monsters and are part of terrain features that are less than 4-inch tall in the same model manner as models that could fly. Their big thing that they've got going for them is their Pulverizing Strike, where when they fight you can say it will unleash a Pulverizing Strike. If you do so, instead of making any attacks with its melee weapons, you pick an enemy unit within 3 inch, and on 4+, the enemy unit suffers 46 mortals. They've got their Smashdown rule, where they add 1 to the damage characteristic of the Fort Crusher Flail for attacks that target an enemy unit in cover or garrisoning a terrain feature. In addition, if you carry out the Smash to Rubble monstrous rampage with this unit, you roll a dice for each enemy unit within 3 inches of the terrain feature you picked, and on a 2+, they'll suffer some mortal wounds. Terror will stop the Inspiring Presence being able to use around them, and they also fall over and do some mortal wounds when they end up dying eventually as well. All in all, a really solid piece, and they can't be taken off by insta-kill abilities, as they just take d6 mortals instead. Now, alongside the Gatebreaker Mega Gargant, Man Crusher Gargants are the sort of main Gargants you're going to see in your force. Now, they can be taken in 2 different varieties, either as singular models or a unit of 3. They can't be taken in units of 2, they're 1 or 3. It is one or the other. But they do cost the same amount of points regardless of how you're looking at that. Now, 12 wounds and a 5-up save, they can have a variety of different attacks. The Massive Club being 4 attacks at 3s, rend 1 damage to their main sort of weapon. Remembering, in this particular sub-faction, you get +1 damage if you're fighting anything in a garrison, or indeed if they're in cover wholly. They got their Mighty Kicks as well for an additional attack at 3s, rend 2 damage D3, and their Headbutt can be a nice rend 3 damage 4 at full strength. The Keep Up rule allows them to run and charge while they're wholly within 15 inch of a friendly Mega Gargan, and the Stomping Charge will allow them to do some mortal wounds on the charge. Stuff them in the bag where they can, after this unit makes a pile in, you pick an enemy unit within 3 inches of it and roll a dice. If the roll is at least double that model's wounds characteristic, it's slain. And like the Mega Gargan, when they eventually die and they fall over, and they do some mortal wounds there as well, though not quite as many as the Mega Gargants do. And so here we have our sample army list for the Breaker Tribe. Now, we've gone with the Fierce Loathing, Idiots with Flags. Like I said, I think this is just the best one. All our models are monsters, so we're going to be able to get some monstrous rampages in there anyway. And so we're going to be able to get, Titanic Jewel to get +1 to hit against monsters, or generally heroes we're going to be getting +1 to hit against because we're going to be fighting those monster heroes. And so Idiots with Flags, I think, just gives us +1 to hit against a bunch of different units where we otherwise can't have access to it outside of things like all-out attack. So I think Idiots with Flags is the way I generally tend to go. The grand strategy is Make the Land Tremble. I think this is just a fantastic grand strategy for the Gargants, and I don't know why I would pick anything else. We can complete this grand strategy if at the end of the game we've had a Gargant unit run and or charge in every turn of ours during the game. So pretty easy to do. If we've lost all our Gargants and we're not able to do this on turn 5, chances are we've probably lost with Sons of Behemat anyway. That's generally how it goes. But we run and charge on those Man Crushers so long as they're in range of that Gatebreaker. This should be pretty easy to do. We are 30 points under the 1,000, so we have got Triumph for Inspired, +1 wound is really nice. Though, I definitely could see a Bloodthirsty being really useful with that 3d6 charge ability for the army as well. Now, our leader is a Gatebreaker Mega Gargan. He's going to be our general, and he's got the command trait Extremely Bitter, which allows us to pick an additional Triumph. An additional one of our Fierce Loathings, and so we've gone for the Bossy Pants and Clever Clogs, which gives him +1 to hit against heroes and wizards as well, meaning we're not having to use Titanic Jewel, we can make use of other abilities there. His artifact will be the King Slaughter Cow, where the Gatebreaker can add 1 to wound rolls if he's targeting an enemy hero as well, so just doubling down on that Extremely Bitter command trait there. Battle line wise, 3 units of Man Crusher Gargants, all singular, and then a Footsluggers Unified Battalion, allowing us to be 1 drop, 71 wounds, 1 drop, no allies, no reinforced units. A pretty solid army for the Mega Gargants, for the Gargants in general. If you've got some ideas for your own Gatebreaker build, let us know down in the comments below. Well, that's the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And also drop us a comment down below letting us know what you enjoyed about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our community here at Sinful Gaming, you can do so on our Discord server, which is linked down in the video's description. If you'd like to help support the channel more, you can do so either by Patreon or YouTube members, or going to our Teespring store, all of which are linked down in the video's description as well. As a special thank you to our patrons and YouTube members, we'd like to give you all a shout out. So, a special Patreon shout out to Christian Weir, Soren, Kenny Lyle, Aaron Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Nathan Fee, The Rising Ape, Q Dynamic, Anthony B, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Derek Bloobs, Benjamin Suarez, and Red Martin. And as thank you to our YouTube members as well, Green Roots Gaming, Kenton Young, Ronya, Lock Lorick, The Johnny 84, David Ellsworth, Wolfric Nick, Broken Chef, Ariana Edwards, Revenar, Pink, Nico Fire, Robin Mankiller, Monty's Tabletop Terrain, John Castle, and Davis Wire. Special thanks also to Lady Witchfox Art, who does all the amazing artwork you see on the channel, like you can see pictured here on this slide. Thank you once again for watching, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.